Town Board meeting into session. Please stand. The pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. All right, update since the previous meeting. Constable not here. We have a report. There were just 2 items on that report, if I remember correctly. And I guess you can't ask questions because he's not here. But it didn't. All right, moving on to the building inspector, to Josh, and Josh is here.
I am.
All right.
Yeah, so there was 14 permits last month, 1 new home, 1 commercial tracking, and then I put on there the year to date so far, just with new homes and new garages, and then the homes that were raised, and then the amount of commercial tracking permits we had for the year.
How many new homes you put last year?
Last year, I was just thinking about that on the way here. I thought that might come up. I want to say it was 29, but that was also including those 4 duplexes.
And those come as 2 piece, or did you count them as 1?
As 1, but or no, I think when you enter that for the census, I think they do account for 2. But yeah, there was last year seemed kind of like a busier year.
And the solar, those are home installations, correct?
Yeah.
Those are gonna slack off a little bit, right, without the funding?
I don't know. They seem to be more every month.
I know it pays big for young people, but when you get my age, it don't make much sense. You can't recoup the benefits of it.
They just seem to be gaining popularity in general too. I mean, even if they're not gonna get the government or the green, what they call it, that refund.
Yeah, have you noted any, generator installations, full home generators?
Yeah, a couple. Yeah.
That was
this
a
year.
big thing it seems like every time we have a tornado or a real big windstorm, then it seems really hot, that there's a
Yeah.
lot of people out there building.
Yeah, earlier this summer there was a rash of them. I didn't put everything on the year to date. That was just kind of like the new, buildings and garages.
28 pole building garages.
Yeah, and I didn't put like the small sheds of, those are all the significant size garages.
A lot. You can put those on a property without a house.
Yeah.
That tells me there's a lot of people wanting to store a lot of their stuff.
Yep.
Anyone else have any questions for Josh? The raisings, were those due to fires?
No, 1 of them might have been, and 2 of them were just really dilapidated old homes.
Did you prompt those or did they?
No, they actually, it was kind of good to hear that they were.
Yeah, nice. Doesn't cost us any money then.
Yeah,
They do it on their own.
I know there's a few out there.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's quite a few, but,
I just had a
You pick 'em out,
discussion
right?
today with someone on would be the southwest corner of Ranger and Z, that little red one.
oh, yeah,
He is planning on tearing that down,
he is.
and right now we just moved the electrical from that to the garage. And then I just talked to him today, and he's wanted to find out how he had to go about getting rid of it. And then he has future plans to build a house a little further back on the property.
I remember when he first bought it, he was going to fix the trusses and it kind of scared me,
Yeah,
but, I'm glad to hear that he's.
it's
gonna
in
raise
rough,
it.
yeah, it's in rough shape.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. Thank you, Josh. Moving on, zoning administrator.
I am working on the driveway ordinance and that's gonna get turned into Gordy on January 1st. And that's it.
Alright. Road crew, we got Tom here hiding.
Yeah. Just, been cleaning up the shop, getting rid of all the clutter that's been there for years, organizing. Been upgrading the stop sign areas, put the yellow and the red strips on. Move some stop signs, that Doug mentioned, to get them better, visual. Been out trimming trees and marking out where the trees need to be trimmed and stuff like that.
Okay.
That's a never ending task. As potholes come up, filling, so. Vehicle maintenance and all that stuff, so.
How are we sitting for salt and sand?
Should be good. Tom probably wasn't into that too much, but we do order that in the summertime
Right,
through the state contract, and Caston, you guys got some in this year? or-
Yeah, I just ordered 2 loads of sand
Yeah,
and one salt.
we do more with sand than salt, right?
Yeah, they mix salt sand with sand. It's kind of old school. Some folks, you see so many folks mix a lot of salt in the sand.
Right.
Well, you kind of defeat the purpose when you do that. Casson and I had this discussion. It's not a melting, it's for traction and
Traction.
abrasion. So when you put a lot of salt in your sand, you burn holes in that ice, the sand falls down in the holes. and
Right.
You don't
You
have
lost the
traction.
purpose, yeah.
Yeah, so some folks put too much salt, so there's only supposed to be like 7 pounds per yard of salt and salt sand,
Oh.
just so it lays there is what that's about.
Good information. Anything else we need to know?
He gave me the paperwork for the truck. I don't know if you folks.
We will be asking for that,
Number 6.
yeah. Are you gonna hang around, or you wanna hand that over to Douglas?
You be here?
I'll be here.
So can I ask a question, please?
Sure.
So with the stop signs, we looked at the one on 64 and Mill, right?
Yeah.
And so we have the policy here that's in the back of our packets. Are we gonna pursue any more of that on that area?
What we did on them, there were several where we had the flag. For some reason, in the past, they moved the stop signs way to the outside of the right of way. Meaning when you come down the road, you almost have to look on the ditch line on some of
Yeah.
them. So we moved them right off the shoulder and then we put red reflective tape on everyone. So they all follow the standard. Nothing that's out there is not substandard. So actually, we're above the standard with the reflectors on. We do have stop aheads. The progression of that is obviously you know what the policy says there. So through the progression of problems, you follow that. You just don't go from a stop sign to rumble strips. There's a progression you go through.
That was unclear to me too, and Doug had to set me kind of straight because the way I was reading it was we could pick one of those 5. But the way it was explained to me was that this is a progression. So the first thing we do is put the stop ahead sign and then add a reflective strip and blah, blah, blah. So at this point with that particular intersection and one other that I had addressed, we put the stop ahead sign and then added the reflective strip and relocated the sign because it was in a bad spot.
Paulette had talked to me about that. She said she goes down, I'm 52nd, one of them. And I looked at them, stop signs are so far back, and I think the reason they were put there because they didn't want to get them knocked off. Well, they're no good if you don't see them, so we
Right.
moved them out to
Where they should be.
the shoulder. So when you come down the road, if you miss that stop sign, there's something wrong there. You should see it.
So if we get some more instances and calls, then we're gonna go to 2-way rumble strips.
Well, if you have an accident,
at that point.
Well, hope it doesn't, but if you do, you go through the progression you do the research on that, why did it happen? Every time there's an accident, they'll talk about, they'll reconstruct that, if it's alcohol or if it's sun in the eyes, all of that stuff. Your stop signs are standard. That's what everybody does. I mean, there's no reason to go substandard on an intersection like that because it's, I did worry about them being off the right of way too far, but they've corrected them, so.
Yeah, we got, one more to do. Problem, the ground was frozen the other day, so.
Yeah.
Something about this time of the year, the ground freezes, I guess.
I think this next week it's supposed to get up in the
Yeah.
50s, so.
So the answer to that is they're standard. It is a standard stop sign. And if there's people blowing them for some reason, are they just doing that? I mean, how can you not see a stop sign like that?
Can't answer that question, but when I took the call, there was 3 instances where individuals had gone through the stop sign. So then that's when we had the discussion about replacing the flags and reference that goes on the new stop sign, but you know, I got the call today, well, the flags are removed, are they gonna put them back? So that's why I'm wondering how we're gonna proceed.
No, they're standard. I've talked to the county about that too. They put flags on only when they put a new stop sign up. When they fall off, they don't put them back. So for us, them stop signs, they have to be a certain. There's a retro reflector thing you can use, or you can use an old guy like me. It's funny how they do that. When you read signs, they'll tell you that you can send somebody out that's 65 plus, and if they can read the sign, it's good. But there is a tool out there that you can use. These stop signs happen to be new.
Yeah.
And so the reflectability of them, it's there. Everything is there. It's standard. It's actually above standard.
So it's the drivers that just are not pulling down.
Yeah, it's a distraction.
Well,
Yeah. What, is there a possibility of lowering the speed limit there with
No,
us?
Our speed limit
study?
already 45.
yeah, the speed isn't that high there neither.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
there's no reason.
You have to do a fully
know.
engineered study there.
I know you have
and
to
if you're
do a
gonna go through
study.
that, you might as well go through these steps first before you do that.
Okay.
Because we changed the speed limit on Ranger and we were not supposed to do that without a study. and
Oh, yeah, I remember
reversed
that.
it back.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it's the same. There's progress just like a stop sign.
Okay.
There's
There are a couple bills right now, they're talking about allowing to give us more latitude to do that, but they haven't gone through yet, so. And to be honest, it's questionable whether they will go.
most likely if it's 45, they're going 55. And that becomes an unfortunate issue.
Yeah,
Yeah, I see that all the time. Even in
Uh,
the
it's
city.
especially out in the middle of nowhere.
It's straight stretches out there, middle of nowhere, they're going 65.
Okay, well, we have a policy in place and the policy came, I'm assuming, from the DOT because that's what it says, and we'll follow that. All right, moving on.
I've got one other thing.
Yes, please.
We applied for town road improvement on Blue Ridge and we did receive that, $39,000. That's
Excellent. Excellent. Well done.
So we heard when they're gonna start work on second solar,
on which one?
on the second solar project.
I haven't heard that. Second,
Yeah, they're out there digging today, moving sand from one side of the road to the other. I don't know what phase that's for, but
I don't know if that is the solar or that is that gentleman who called. We had a discussion about this, Doug, where he
Oh.
was digging.
he never called me back.
He didn't.
Is he moving that, is that sand coming from down here?
yeah, it's going from the west side to the east side.
Yep.
They got that short jaunt on the,
So, but they're not taking it from down here off of, where Heidi lives down.
Upland Road.
Is that where you're talking?
well, they're coming through the solar field
And,
and
and maybe that's why he didn't call
Yeah,
us back.
That's okay if they do that.
Yeah, that's probably why he didn't call us back, because they found a way to get it without using the roads. We knew something was going on there. We were approached by a gentleman who And I don't even remember how much yardage she wanted to move anymore. It was an enormous
It's like
amount.
100 loads or something.
Yeah, and he asked me what the procedure was, and I didn't know. So I actually called the county, called Doug, and, the DNR, covered my bases, but the DNR said, nothing, county said, nothing. And then we got talking about the town road and asked them to call us back, and
Yeah, I did leave him a message talking about waiting till the road was froze, which would help, that those roads aren't really designed for a lot of truck traffic, so a little bit concerning. But evidently he must have found a different route then. He's not going downtown.
Well, they're coming out of the solar field on the west side, then they make a jaunt to the north, they go back in the solar field, and they're going way deep to the east. They got a vehicle with the county road or something, somebody sitting in a car, the truck by the trucks coming and go. So,
okay.
Doug, what's the first floor that can be done on there? What year? What year is that for?
Which one? This,
The
this
Elbert
is-
project?
or that it's got a 7-year sunset on it, so.
Okay, could be done as soon as next year though?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be done, and that's a good thing with the solar projects. You obviously wouldn't wanna do that and then have build a solar project. Wait till they're done and then we'll.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, there's either one of two ways. You either do it first and let them wreck something on it and fix it right after, or you let them wreck whatever and then use the money to fix it.
But it's a 7-year sunset on that.
Okay.
Kind of along with Blue Ridge, we have been talking for years about Kester Road. And I have contacted a few engineering firms to get a bid on what it would cost to have that road re-engineered. Number one, for the town, so it would end where it ends now, but potentially with a cul-de-sac or some
I hammer
So-
it around.
yeah, some type of turnaround there for the emergency vehicles. However, we were also approached by a private individual that gave us some food for thought for extending the road, but not at a cost to the town. So, we are looking at the Kester Road engineering, designing the road and engineering that. Because it's been brought up for about 20 years, I think. So, and the road's at the point where we're gonna have to do something with it soon. So we gotta have some choices here that we're gonna have to make in the next couple of years. So that being said, do you have anything else, either one of you gentlemen? Okay, let's move ahead to the plan commission. Josh?
Plan commission, Rose is working on revamping the driveway ordinance. We also are going through the camping ordinance. And, yeah, the camping ordinance is we pretty much got that. We're just gonna have a final draft before
Right.
it comes to the board here.
Right.
And, we'll work on the driveway ordinance on the next meeting.
All right, sounds good. Anyone have any questions for that? All right, coming out of that plan commission also was, a discussion about portable storage containers and that our language in our building code was not descriptive enough because it only addressed one entity in our town. And now that we have people moving in from other areas, Chicago, Milwaukee, other larger areas that do allow storage containers, they're actually purchasing them and then wanting to bring them into town, unknowing that we don't allow them. So, guided by the plan commission, I have drafted a potential language for our building code ordinance, and we're gonna review that a little later too. Other than that, I think we have a meeting the 13th of January. All right, okay, moving forward, clerk.
A few operators licensed. There was one for Devin Burchek, Kate Switch, Jennifer Lawrence, and Shane LeMay. So those operators were issued and just fielding lots of garbage.
Have you heard when the new schedule is actually starting?
Could be for January.
January 1st.
Might not. So
Okay.
the map is on our website in 2 different places. I know it's really hard to see phone on the website, I can kind of expand it to see the roads written a little bit better. But garbage one week,
Yeah.
garbage and recycling the following week. The garbage must be bagged, recycling unbagged. In the containers, and then it has the placement guidelines, so if there's cans that come and they're damaged. Or, we've had people that, it was a third party that actually is delivering the cans.
Yep, so
So-
we'll just throw it on there.
Yep, so remind me, I will let them know. I've just been sending them to my contact at Waste Management, and then they'll take care of it. So if there's a can that got delivered to a place that shouldn't have a can, they will come pick it up. If there's a damaged can, they'll take care of it.
And
So-
if they want a second can, there's
Yep.
no charge
Correct.
for that second container.
Right,
You just have to let us know.
yep,
No.
yep, so their name and address is what I would need in order to forward that on to the garbage representative.
And again, it does not start until January 1st.
Mhm.
So utilize your old container.
Yep, yep.
The first
they-
week will
Well,
be
the
back
first-
at one
yeah.
day, so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sorry, yeah, you're right, you're
Yeah.
right. Absolutely
Mhm.
correct. Okay, treasurer, Billy Joe is excused. It's her mom's birthday today, so she's spending some time with family, which is totally acceptable. All right,
So will all of the garbage cans be delivered by the first?
I'm hoping so. I did not realize that they were starting to deliver them on Monday until I seen them go past the hall and it's that noise and, oh, they're delivering cans.
Yeah, there's
So-
a U-Haul.
Yeah, yeah.
yes, and yes,
Yeah.
I,
So hopefully that is my belief that they should be, if that's when they're expecting to start picking it up that way. But
and if your cans are damaged, please let us know, because they will be replaced.
So those should be reported to you, not just trying to call customer service there. or anything.
I mean, I guess you could call right to Waste Management, but sometimes it's hard to get through.
Yeah, and we're trying to track a
Mhm,
little bit of what's going on.
mhm.
Paulette did provide the waste management with a list of where they belong. But unfortunately, they started delivering them on Monday,
And that's the
which
same day the list was provided.
preempted
so-
the list, yeah. So we're trying to field everything, get everything in order, and it's just been phone call after phone call. And I know most people out there are very understanding and realize that we really had no choice with our garbage providers. So it's just something that we're all gonna have to work through, but realize that if you do have an issue, please give us a call.
Have there been a lot of damaged cans?
Yes,
Fair amount.
and
And dirty.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
I've heard that too.
geez, I followed one of those U-Haul trucks and I actually seen the guys just throw them off the back. I
That's
mean,
why your
and they're
wheel is
plastic.
Yeah.
Well, they actually did a nice job in my neighborhood. They got out and every single one, they wheeled them nicely off to all the drivers. I sat out and watched them.
Well, there
do
was
all
a guy
the
in the
policies.
back.
So they did them nicely in my neighborhood,
Good.
but when they brought them over, the wheel fell off and he said, oh, well, it'll go back on. I messed with it for a little bit. It won't go back.
The Garbage or recycling, do you know?
The garbage can. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's not a huge deal, but it does need to be replaced. I'm just curious if that's been an issue with quite a few, or I did get a call from one person, one of my neighbors, called me up and said that his was definitely very used.
Yeah, they're
Worked.
not
It
all.
was fine. It was very used. That
Mhm.
were his words. Don't know
Mhm.
exactly what that means, but probably dirty.
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah,
did
but
not, I just not received mine for some reason or another, so I called them this morning.
Okay.
It took me about 10 or 15 minutes, right to Waste Management.
Okay, And they've got 'em coming?
They got
Okay.
'em coming.
okay,
I haven't
perfect.
seen it yet.
Okay.
but they got 'em
If you don't, within the next week, let me know and I
coming.
can.
They said the
yeah.
26th.
Okay. Mm,
It's not a real big issue, cause I already have one
Okay,
that I've been using,
okay,
but sometimes we got more than that holds, so then you can put two side by side.
sure.
And I need the recyclables.
we knew it would be
didn't
a transition that would
Yeah.
be a little hard, because we know a lot of people don't watch us or, attend the meetings or read everything, so a lot of it's gonna be word of mouth. but hopefully we'll get through this. Once we have that sign, that's gonna make
Mhm.
such a big difference. Oh, the sign, it's gonna be here next Friday. They're putting it up. Yay. Okay, informal announcements by board members. The sign's gonna be here next Friday. There we go. Chase, anything?
Just feel a couple questions myself about the garbage, which I did not have the information, so I gotta make a couple calls. Also, I had a call from a logger down on. Told you about it. Do you remember which road that was on? I told you about it?
Oh, yeah. No, I don't. I got the paperwork though.
But though, I
Yeah.
don't remember what.
Yeah, I don't remember where it was,
But-
but he did, he let us know and asked to be, any permits, informed that it, as long as he had the permits through the state. And I did let him know to try to stay off of it during warm periods, if he could, and
Good.
try to. And he said, yeah, he would try, especially in the warmer days, to, especially middle of the day, and try to only go on the cooler parts of the day, stay off of it when it was warm. So he was well aware, seemed very informed, so.
Great.
Shouldn't affect too much. I can't remember the name of the road, but
I don't either, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We both read the paperwork.
about it though. It was-
Roger, do you have anything?
Just the stop sign issue that we referenced.
Okay,
Thanks for the follow-up on that, Dogwood. Aston and Tom, and took one call on concerns with the garbage and recycling bins, and the resident made a statement that it would be nice to know when they would be able to start using them, and I told them that it was on the website as well as on the tax letter, there was some information. That's the way we handle it, so that's all I have.
Josh,
January 10th is planning commission meeting.
Oh. thank you. Yeah, I guess that's when I catch my boat. Sorry.
I received numerous calls and messages regarding the garbage cans as well. There is 2 addresses that their neighbors got the cans, but they didn't. I advised them to call Waste Management, but if I can call them back, and if you need those addresses,
Yeah, either that, the hard part, sometime I know that they finished, so that since they're not all the way done, so I, give it a couple days to see, cause I don't know where they dropped off.
Right.
But if they don't, I mean, I can certainly, if you have their address, I can,
Yeah.
Email the contact at Waste Management, or if they've already called them, that's,
right, I'll find out if they called or not. And, like, I haven't got mine yet, but
Okay.
neither does the neighbors.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
This, it was almost like they skipped the driveway,
well, sure.
like they never got it.
But when I talked to the guy who dropped mine off, it sounded like they planned on getting everybody's out by Friday.
Okay,
Now, I don't know how informed the guy who dropped mine off was.
okay.
He also said that my wheel would go back on.
You have no faith in him.
I don't know.
Another thing I wanted to clarify, and I've been telling people, this, and hopefully I'm correct. If the cans are damaged, they're replaced for free.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes,
And a second one, if it's needed, is also free.
you are correct.
Mhm.
Okay.
And that's just as simple as just get me the address for them and
Okay.
I'll let Waste Management know.
Okay.
So whether they leave a message with me or if they tell you and you
Okay.
send it to me, that's either way works.
It's garbage or recycling, and they said they do another garbage or recycling.
Okay. Alright. I received a call. A resident was wondering where the box went. That
Oh, I
held-
have it.
That held the minutes.
Oh, I have it.
Okay,
Oh, I do. Yes, I painted it and put new letters on it. It's sitting in my garage.
Okay.
I'll bring it tomorrow. Oh, my gosh.
Alright, I will let the,
Speaking of the garbage, we have a lot of residents now that have garbage cans that they probably don't want, have nothing to do with.
I wondered about that.
Is there maybe something we can do for a collection?
We should have done that when we did the contract.
Probably, but, I mean, I got 2 cans that they don't even have lids on. I really got
But they're
nothing to do
private
with
owned.
myself.
Yeah, but they'll take them at least.
Dispose of. They're of no value. They're gonna be garbage, to be honest.
Let's call Tim and ask
Okay.
him if,
But let's see if can we see if there's something that can be done, because we're probably gonna have a lot of residents who wanna know what they can do with these cans that they can't use anymore.
Good
I'll
point.
ask him once.
yeah.
Could possibly schedule a large item pickup,
We do have 2 of them a year, but
That's
right
probably,
through waste management.
them
they
are
have.
probably gonna be recyclable, I think.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah.
Well, of course, they've got
Well, he might
garbage.
just bring a dumpster over here for a week. I mean, that would aid us in getting rid of a lot of them.
Well, we're gonna want that manned though, cause we don't want everything in that dumpster, quite frankly. You're gonna want somebody here sitting here
True.
and
true.
controlling, okay.
Well, let's see what they can work out with us.
Funny,
Okay,
I thought about that today.
that's a good
But
idea.
I think that's something we should have discussion, and maybe if we can try to get that around, if it's possible, where we can just say, hey, your old garbage cans, if you don't want them,
Mhm.
bring them here so we'll dispose of them.
That's a good idea.
Cause I got, well, actually I got 3 of them. One I put my recycling, 2 I put garbage in that I
I was
probably
wondering
don't have
what
any use for.
I was wondering what I was gonna do with mine too. Good idea. We'll get hold of them. Okay.
I have one more thing.
Yes, sir.
A resident called me asking what could be done as far as like what steps would be needed or what the procedure is for an installation of a street light. There's an intersection that's really dark where kids get on the school bus.
Installation of a street light?
yeah.
Okay.
The same part of it had a water issue.
There's concern that kids are getting on a school bus in pitch black.
It is, it's pretty dark there.
That's the one right across from your house?
That's right across from me.
Somebody has to pay the
That-
monthly bill on it.
We do.
That is a dark intersection.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not the only dark intersection, but how many
Well,
kids
see,
get
that's,
on?
that's the problem. Where do you start and stop
Where do you
that?
stop? Yeah.
Right.
The advantage of that one over ones we've talked about in the past is at least we don't have the state road to contend with on that.
And the thing is, you can't put them out, they can't shine on a state highway, so they're
Right.
back, so they're really a street light for the highway, they're not out on the road.
Could a guy pay for it if they wanted to?
Yeah.
See, Alicia's the one that's worried about it.
Yeah, that was another thing that I was gonna bring up is if money was an issue, the resident was
Well, it's a
willing to.
monthly electricity charge.
We have several in the town, streetlights, but that's something that the last board, I talked to them about, there should be a policy written on that, so
There's not?
I want one on my intersection. I mean, it's,
Oh, there is. There is a policy.
There's a policy book back there, actually. Actually, it's right by
maybe
your
we did
property
put
there.
one in there.
You know how many kids get on the bus, sir?
Just Braxton and
Take
Kane.
a look at it.
Just two. And they just started high school. Both just started. so.
But I can tell you, when my kid gets on the bus in our driveway, it is
Dark.
pitch
Oh, yeah.
black, dark,
So
and
you want
we'll
a
turn the
street
lights on by the
Oh,
house.
you want-
I do want a street light,
You can put a street light out.
but it is dark.
Yeah,
I do have to
And
agree
I don't
when
mean
those
to
kids
be
get
that
on the
way,
bus
it's just,
at,
it's a hard one.
it is dark. It's
Right.
very,
Well,
Well, when I drove by that, I said, yeah, this is a dark intersection, and then I went down, well, so was this one. Well, so was this one, you know? So I just wanna get back to her and let her know what our policy is, if there is any, or if there's anything
Well,
we can do.
do you want a copy of that so you can take that back?
it's
to her?
not a policy, it's actually a minutes.
Oh,
So on January 2021, the board discussed setting a policy for the placement of requested streetlights. 2000 was when streetlights were last installed on a town road. A resident requested a streetlight at the corner of Highway 13 and Nature's Way. Has now suggested checking with DOT for placement of the streetlights. The board may consider placement of a streetlight on a public town road where it intersects a state highway. The request would need to be brought before the board. The board may reject any request that is not advantageous for the town. The town will not install or pay for streetlights to be placed at private roads, trails, and state highway intersections.
So they say no.
Well, that's the minutes of a meeting, so
it's not an official policy.
it's not an official policy unless we.
Unfortunately, I think we're looking at a pretty slippery slope if we go down that route, cause that's
Well, maybe
You're
we
looking
should
at
check with
every-
the DOT and see what the DOT and the county.
On the corner of Shady Pines and Ranger, the DOT wouldn't be, that wouldn't be. That's a Shady. Yeah, those are both town roads, so the DOT wouldn't be involved in that, right? That'd be to our discretion.
Ranger and
Shady Pines.
Now,
I meant for
the
right
person who
now.
lives on that corner,
Meant for right
is that who's getting on the bus there, or is it somebody who lives back from?
Well, Caden, which is Kate Car across from there. Discuss setting up.
Kitty corner across from it?
And they get on, they actually get on at the end of the road.
Okay.
Because Braxton walks down to the end of the road and then Caden just right on the corner of his yard.
yeah,
It's actually in my second driveway
Okay.
is where they get on. Right where the culvert is. Right there.
I mean, the only solution I can think of is if one of those private houses wanted to bring a power line, put it out of the right of way and put a post with a light. There's probably.
There is
best
a post there already, because it comes across the
Yep.
bed.
I've seen the post already.
Well, right,
It's more
but
on
a
my,
utility post is what
Yeah.
you're talking.
yeah,
Um, Unfortunately, I'd like to say yes, but I think that's a very slippery slope.
yeah. The other possibility is I could possibly talk to the, power company, because I know they do install lights. And then they charge the landowner
Yeah,
a certain fee.
yeah, I thought it used to be $35 a month.
And it was unlimited use. I mean, it was their light, they maintained it. It just come directly off. There was no meter, no nothing. It was right off the line.
I don't know if they still. do that.
I'll get together with Alicia on that. We'll see. I just found out about it last night. but-
And
What do you? I've had a message from her for a couple weeks now.
Yeah.
I'll research writing a policy.
yeah, you might wanna check with other towns.
Oh,
So,
Yep.
yeah.
We gotta be careful that it doesn't infringe on anybody.
Yeah, somebody might not like it.
Yeah.
I know they talked about it.
Yeah, because if you got one shining in somebody's window while
Right.
they're trying to sleep, then that-
It is so bright that you can't sleep at night.
I close my eyes, it don't matter.
They do have such a thing as a downward shield and downward. I mean, there is verbiage out there, I'm sure. But, I'll look into, have it to making a streetlight policy, but in the meantime, you might wanna check with the electrical provider, which I believe is Alliance over there, and see what they say. But yeah, you're right, we do need a policy.
Yeah, cause that's a hard one.
Yeah,
You said it, it's slippery slope. Where do you start and stop that?
yeah, and I'll check with the DOT and the county and see what their policy is and try to get
Probably
something.
more other towns, DOT, their
Okay.
policies will, they do have them, but them are on state roads.
But it looks like in 2000, they put it on the thing to do, but it just never.
Yeah, we
followed.
got this one over here. That was
Okay,
yeah, I hate to say it, but
yes, I see that in Nature's Way. Yeah, I see that.
was that one actually put in?
It was.
Oh, it was.
yeah, it was dark for the guy to drive down the road.
I thought that one was decided against, actually.
It was, it says in there it was.
What's that?
It says it was, said no. They said not
They
to
put that
install
one in
it.
Nature's Way?
I think there is one out there.
Okay.
Mhm. Maybe that might have been
It was
after.
brought up at several meetings, but more than one.
The minutes were from 2000, so it might have been done, afterwards, but we'll get on board with it. Okay, approval of previous minutes.
Make a motion to approve the November 15th, 6 o'clock meeting minutes.
I will second that.
All right.
All in favor?
Josh, you weren't actually there. So I don't know that you can approve the meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the
Sorry, I'm sorry.
November 15th.
I think you're probably right.
Well, I read them.
And I appreciate that.
Fine to me.
Okay, Chase made a motion to approve the minutes. Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
And Roger second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those against? Sorry, Josh.
I'll make a motion to approve the Wednesday, December 6th meeting minutes as well.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Chase, a second by Roger to approve the board meeting minutes of December sixth at 6 p.m. All those in favor? Those against? Motion carries. Okay, I think that's all the meetings. That was a very short meeting. That was just for liquor licenses, for anybody who wants to know. Patrol truck specifications. Okay. All right. No, I am not gonna be like well versed on this. I do know that this was the same as the one that we just ordered, or the one that we presently have, with the exception of something, treatment systems and electronics. What is that? What is that for?
We had, manual and he wanted electronic control, but it's on this one.
All right, and then, integral extended mainframe rails of 24-inch minimum extension. What does that mean? That's on the frame.
Yeah, I think the 24-inch rails were to accommodate the plow on the front.
Okay, and so that's,
Where do you see that one?
The
second page under frame.
What the 24-inch rails usually do is you've got a full-time hydraulic pump that goes on the front.
Okay,
And those rails actually protect that hydraulic front.
okay,
Where they hang
And then the
them.
plow actually connects in front of that.
okay, so it protects it.
They-
Otherwise, if you don't put that on, you end up with a PTO driven one, which you have to engage.
Or a transmission driven.
Right,
They,
but
they do put them on the transmission of it. They seem to like. these.
generally for a patrol truck, a direct drive one is the way to go. You've always got power to it. It's a better.
Okay. So
There's,
we're saying yes or no,
yes,
okay. Because one column is yes and one is no, and it's both checked, so I didn't know which one. All right, and then multiplex wiring, why would you need multiplex wiring? It says it's not available anyway, so I guess it's a mute point.
Can't
Okay.
deal with that.
Okay, transmission warranty.
Which photo you guys mean?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the
Which-
single axle, the,
Single axle?
yeah, the second page. Okay, and I'm looking, right now I'm looking at the transmission.
Ellison transmission.
Yeah.
6 speed, I believe it is, isn't it?
Oh,
Really?
yeah, it says,
What,
no,
this is just truck specs. This isn't a specific brand, right?
This is a truck spec, yes.
yeah,
But, just a specific, not a specific brand.
No,
no,
It's just,
no. How
What-
that works is you meet or exceed.
so is this the checklist from the last time?
Yeah.
This is the truck we have.
this is the
You
truck,
have to, what you have to do is, when you put a spec together for a truck, obviously, these dealers have to know what's the ballpark. on it.
Right, but what I'm looking at is these checks on the side. Is this from the last time they went through this truck?
Yes, I believe.
They went down and, okay, this truck,
Yeah.
yes, this meets
Yeah.
this one, this, okay. So that's what I'm.
Yeah, this is the exact same spec we had last time.
all right, so what's, again, in the transmission warranty, the 7-year, 150,000, why does it say no? And it says C40 TVV. What does that
They
mean?
probably don't offer a warranty on
No,
that covers
that's
that.
what I'm thinking that was.
There's no warranty on the transmission
Well, there's.
Probably not 150 mile or
it's
7
it's
year.
probably,
because it's commercial?
it's probably 3 and 3,
Okay,
3 years, 300,000.
okay, because it's commercial,
No,
that-
that's-
We asked for that, but nobody would give it.
okay.
right,
I
there's
see.
standard is commercial, so it's not.
You can get anything you want, but there's a cost to it. I'm sure they, Josh, you would do it if you said, another
They
10
make,
grand.
they make extended warranties, yeah. I mean, it's for a price though.
All right. So one thing that Casson was talking about wanting was a radio.
And Bluetooth,
Bluetooth on the radio, yes.
Okay,
I think that's in here.
it says with hands-free. Does that mean
That's Bluetooth.
that's a Bluetooth?
Automatically connects.
All right, and that's not on the old one though, is it?
No, I don't think it is. I'm not sure.
I don't think,
He looked it up and they said the specs were not.
No, I
So
don't-
we had that discussion
Yeah,
previous.
our new truck does not have Bluetooth.
okay. Okay,
See, I worry about that.
yeah, that's what you said before.
Yeah, and maybe I'm old school on that, I'm not sure. But that driver should be able to hear everything around you. You stick them things in your ears, you're not hearing horns.
But you shouldn't have
Yeah,
anything
you
stuck
shouldn't
in
have
his
anything,
ear.
if it's gonna come through the radio.
Yeah, if it's true
Yeah, but
Bluetooth,
do they Bluetooth into their?
no, no, it's
Your
into the
phone-
truck,
Your phone automatically connects to
Okay.
the radio.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it'll go right through.
The only thing he has to do is when he's driving is push a button on his steering wheel and then he'll be able to talk on his phone.
That's funny.
The only, but I do agree as far as concentration. You lose that that bit of concentration when you're talking on that
I've
phone.
always told our drivers, if your phone rings, pull over and answer it.
Well,
Yeah.
I did have a conversation with Casson about that, and he says that's what they do.
Yeah,
They pull
they should.
over and then they have the
Because I
conversation.
can tell
Okay.
you one thing, an officer is gonna check your phone if you get in an accident,
Oh, sure,
and that's where your liability comes in.
sure. They do that with a car, a vehicle accident.
Certainly.
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
So, and the way I put that to Caston, I says, you do what you want, but I would pull over. And he said to me, well, you call me the most. Remember that.
The one thing bringing that up on your radio does allow you to do though, is it brings up the contact who's calling you on
Yeah.
there. So we can glance at that and say, yes, I need to answer that, so we can pull over and hit yes. Or that can wait, I'm gonna ignore that, and keep driving.
I didn't like folks talking on the phone a lot. You know, it's not for me. These guys have a CDL.
Right.
Like I say, they get in an accident,
They'll lose it if they were on their
Oh.
phone. Yeah,
trouble.
yeah. So, I'm good with all the truck requirements, now the equipment requirements. Are you guys all good with the truck requirements or were there questions?
Well, the only thing I wanna say is, it doesn't matter what brand of truck, just about every truck has multiplex wiring in it now.
Yeah,
So
so that's all right.
yeah, I mean,
So,
you can't not get multiplex.
so just cross that off, you think?
Well,
They're gonna come back and not give it to you.
I'm fine as long as we can't get an
It
internet.
says no multiplex wiring though. Okay. All right. So now going on to the equipment specifications. A 6-inch I-beam longitudinal, what is that? The I-beam of the main structure
Where are you seeing that? That's probably under the box.
under the floor, yeah, on the
Yeah,
floor.
that's underneath the box.
Okay, that's what that's what I wanna know, and now it's 8 inch instead of a 6. Okay. Will that's an upcharge, I'm assuming, the 8 inch,
Yeah,
or
we
is
can
it?
order that either from Monroe or Stainless stand up there or something. They'll know, they'll see
Okay.
that.
There is one thing I'd like to see added to this. I'd like to see auto chains added.
Oh, what?
Auto chain system,
Auto
chains,
chains?
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that.
cause
I don't know much about them.
I've got a few customers who use them and they say in a heavy storm, they are a saver.
I've heard of other people have a lot of trouble with them too.
I know a couple who have had some trouble with them, but they've said the trouble have been
Ambulances and.
worth the
I mean,
time.
I think first responders have them all on theirs and we were working on them a lot. But,
Is it
you know,
chains on the tires, is that? what
yeah,
you're talking about?
there's a system that comes down air operated, it spins, it goes underneath for ice events. What we do now is we got a cable chains in the shop and before a storm, if we know it's gonna be ice, we'll talk about it and say, make sure you get your cable chains out because if you need them, they're easy to put them on.
Okay,
But what these do is you basically hit a button, they automatically deploy, and they put and they spin underneath the tires,
okay.
so they'll give the tires traction.
Oh, so it knocks the snow off the tire?
No, all it does is it kicks those chains
chain-
underneath the tires, so it puts those chains between the tires and the road.
Oh,
So it gives,
but how does that damage our roads?
Well, no, you don't wanna use it, well, yeah, probably does, but.
No more than putting chains
You
on your
certainly
tires
gotta
is.
get somewhere when it's icy.
Putting chains on your tires.
But you're only gonna use it when the
when you
road's
have icy
covered.
roads.
Probably more because we use cable chains,
Okay,
but it's so minimal, that doesn't bother me.
But you can also choose to use them in certain areas, and so if you know there's a spot that's always icy, you can turn them on for that half-mile stretch, take them back.
Okay, where would you add that?
Well, there's not really, let's see,
You know, your hydraulic hoses, fittings, lighting.
So John, could that come through Monroe or would that
that'd be
come through
Monroe.
your,
That'd be Monroe.
that'd have to go in your truck equipment?
That'd be on the, yes, on the second set of sheets here.
Yeah.
That would probably be under the
I,
understructure? No, that would go under
I'd
there,
probably add it to miscellaneous.
probably.
Yeah. Go ahead and add that.
And the other thing I would like to see on is, an undercoating on everything. I know it's a stainless steel box, but actually the floor on those boxes is actually a mild steel. 'Cause
I think it's on, we talked about that.
Is it? Okay,
Under, let's see, well,
because the floor is not stainless on those boxes. They actually can't make the floor stainless. It's not hard enough steel.
I know it was on one of them.
I don't see it. It might have been on there and then crossed off though,
That could be.
because there's a whole section that was crossed off and I don't know what that was.
Those are the two additions I'd like to see on, are those, auto chains and the undercoating system.
I thought we had that on there, but I don't see it.
Well, it doesn't hurt to put it on there, and if it's on there twice, they'll bring it to our attention, I'm assuming. Under miscellaneous, I'd add that again. And that's under the box, correct?
I'd put that under just miscellaneous too.
I mean, the undercoating though is for the box, or for the,
Yeah.
yeah. All right,
It's a nice truck.
so the one that we have now is an international? Okay,
We've got the Cummins engine in the one we've got now, right?
Yes,
yeah. And
330 or 340.
Yeah, 330.
do we send this out to select dealers, or do we place the ad in,
You have to place an ad in the paper,
um,
and then you send one to Midstate, you send one to, Wausau, whoever it is. I always send it to them, so
White.
we
Truck
get
Country.
them. Truck Country, and
okay,
so they get it. Last time, you remember that?
Mhm.
You gotta be careful with the specs. Make sure the bottom line's the bottom line. Don't let them add the tax afterwards. Don't let them add things, because they'll do that to you.
say that again?
When you get a spec and they give you
Yeah.
a sheet, they were actually higher until we looked over the bid sheet.
Yeah,
And they added the tax on the back page.
oh,
So you gotta be careful that
okay,
you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
so you go over the bids with
Because
the
you look at that
code,
and say, oh, you've
Yeah.
got it. Well,
okay,
you need to, I'm not sure, I don't know when you're gonna do this, but
Do we have a heated windshield on here at all?
not sure. I think heated mirrors, I know that.
I don't know if the new, I don't know if.
I don't know if you want a heated windshield. I've plowed a lot of snow. You want that windshield cold. Heated windshields, to me, everything sticks. When it's cold out, I'm gonna tell you, when I plowed, and Caston's learned, I wish you were here. He's learned the same thing I did. He was having trouble, so I said, turn the heat off on the windshield. Because then that snow just slides off, doesn't stick anymore. You start putting heat on your windshield, you got a gobby mess.
Well, these are actually like your
Yeah,
rear
I know what they
window.
are.
Yeah,
They're a
And I've-
gobby mess.
Oh, they have the,
They get hot. And then what happens, every flake of snow hits that, you wearing wipers out, your wipers are going all day.
because it.
You don't
melts.
want your wipers on.
Melts and turns to slush. I can see it.
I don't know how important that is. For me, I wouldn't use it.
I know a few towns who that,
Yeah, I know.
they refuse to take Peterbilt's because Peterbilt wouldn't put it in the
Yeah.
trucks.
If they really plowed a lot and they learned, after time, they'd be shutting that stuff off, I can tell you that. It works much better when you have a cold windshield. Because the snow that's coming over your plow and everything, it's not, it just gone.
Yeah.
If you heat that windshield. My experience, nobody else's, and I told Caston about that, guess what he does now? He said it works well, he
Yeah.
cuts the heat off on the windshield, the defroster. You'll get snow piled up on the hood of the truck that high, sometimes you can't hardly see over it, get it to you. Years ago, the headlights, when they came out with a halogen, there's not enough heat there anymore, so you gotta knock that off. Years ago, when you had regular headlights, that used to make a big cone over it, you lose your headlights. Now you don't get heat on them, so it just hits them and falls off.
I've seen something about a PTO.
Well, we got a fuel capacity on here. Do we want to put a capacity for DEF fuel fluid at all?
What is it?
We got a fuel capacity. Do we want to put a capacity on there for DEF fluid at all?
Fuel capacity?
Yeah, fuel capacity of 70 gallons.
Yeah.
We want to put a capacity for the DEF fluid.
It's gonna be standard. I mean,
That's gonna be a standard.
it's gonna be a 12.5 or an 18 gallon and. it
You
wouldn't
don't put
matter.
a lot of definitely the same.
I mean, the smaller the tank, the better as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, but they're probably gonna get 2 or 3 fill-ups before they even have to think about putting depth in.
It's usually like a 12.5 gallon.
Our spreader chains, that's not the same thing.
Or change, that must be gate change.
Yeah,
Yes, it
Three
is.
gates?
That sounds
Yeah.
pretty.
What are they?
Okay,
Yeah, them are gate change.
all right. I'm sorry, I'm not as well versed as you guys are on this.
And I see we got a salt auger, you know, we're using a lot of sand, sometimes,
But the sand clumps up too, doesn't it? Is
well,
that
what
the
happens
auger's
is
for?
you get a bigger auger and the flights, if you have a salt auger, the flights are closer together. And what happens is, we're using sand, so what it'll do is we'll bridge on you.
Oh,
I do like I'd rather see us, these guys like the sand one. What happens is if you put a sand auger in and you start putting salt down, you got such a gap in between your flights, the salt will fall out, then you'll have a bare spot, it'll fall.
okay.
I guess we don't use it that much, I guess the salt auger will work fine. The flights are closer together on a salt auger. When you spread them apart, I guess you could, if you understand, you're pushing this wad.
Yeah.
And it falls off and then
Yeah.
it dries up and
Yeah,
so they like the sand or the salt auger because their flights are closer together. What happens is it plugs up more sometimes.
and I've seen that, I mean, I've seen that happen on roads when there's.
So if the county had a sand auger on going down 13, you would know it because you'd see salt. Until that next wad of salt come, you'd see a space in between. That's what's happening there. The flights are too far apart. Imagine that, you wouldn't think that would be that technical, would you?
Hmm. Well, yeah, because when you have a spreader, I mean, just walking behind, when things clump up, it doesn't come out. Yeah, I can see that. So is there anything on here that jumped out at you, Josh? I
Mhm.
mean, you're more well versed than any of us.
No, it's all good to me on the truck side and the body side. Can't think of anything that's missing. Is the battery, I didn't see where the battery was located. Is it under the seat or is it outside?
You guys put yours under the seat now?
We can.
Or you can?
Normally
I don't
it's
know
not
if
like
it's
that.
specified.
Normally it's not like that.
Oh, it doesn't say here where the battery is
there.
located.
Yeah, it does
Does
say,
it?
yep.
Okay.
Two heavy duty, group 31, 1900 cold crane cab, in cab, under passenger seat if possible.
Well, I see it.
So the battery must be under seat on this new one.
I believe it is on the new one.
It's on the first sheet, that check-off sheet that they gave you.
Is there a lot of changes on the truck since,
Not too much.
22? I think we're-
Just the price.
Price, yeah.
Yeah, well.
I was worried about that.
Mhm.
That's why,
And that's everywhere. I mean, that's gonna be on the truck side and the body side,
that's why I was pushing that we should.
Yeah, the bodies would get as much as the truck now.
right?
All right, other than that, I'll entertain a motion to put this out for bids. No,
Can I make that one?
I don't see why not.
Make a motion to put the patrol truck specifications out for bids,
Pro truck and equipment.
both patrol truck and equipment.
Okay, I have a motion by Josh to put out for bids the patrol truck and the patrol truck equipment specifications. Do I have a second? Hearing none, I will second that motion myself. I can do that, correct? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Those against?
No.
Okay, I have 3 ayes and 1 no. Motion passes. You don't have to specify why no, Roger, but if you'd like to, we'll report it for you.
No comment.
Alright. Okay, moving on. Next order of business. Certified survey map for Leo Podrowski. This went in front of the plan commission. The plan commission doesn't like it, because it doesn't meet the new zoning. However, it does meet the requirements for the old zoning. So it was recommended that we approve this. The reason that, the discussion, ensued at the plan commission is because if you'll see that the egress is only 33 feet wide and the driveway has to go in that little 33 feet all the way back to lot 1. So, the neighbor on lot 2 and the one for the CSM 9210, that driveway is gonna be right in between there. And with the new zoning, it has to be, I believe it was 75 feet of frontage on Tower Road for the new zoning. So based on the old zoning, they recommended approval. I see no reason that we can hold it back. Is there any discussion?
So when was this put forward?
This was submitted to the town of Saratoga, I believe, about a week before. I don't know the
Trying to
exact,
think which, I'd have to look in my email to see.
it was
exactly
about a week
which day,
before
but it
the
was-
zoning went into effect.
Okay, so a week before?
Yeah,
Right.
It was prior.
Make a motion to approve then.
A second.
okay, I have a motion by Chase and a second by Josh to approve the CSM for Leo Podrowski. All those in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Those against? Motion carried. Now, we're gonna move on to the next survey map by Al Wenzel, and this one is a little contentious. So, what Alwynzell is doing is there are presently 3 lots. So if you look at this survey map, I'm gonna try to explain. Lot 1 and 2 right now are 1 lot. And lot 3 and 4 right now are 1 lot. So they're divided by that egress and ingress easement. And on lot, now looking at the map, on lot 2 and lot 3, there are 2 slabs. He has acquired permits to put in buildings. These buildings are outside of the egress easement. And they are existing. The problem at the plan commission was that, number one, they weren't shown on the map. And I have researched that. The county does not show them, does not require them to be shown on the map. However, the town can require them to be shown on the map, all structures. And so, that is something that the plan commission is entertaining as a requirement. And I think it's a very good idea, because then we'll know what's on the property before we start granting CSMs, in case we see something that doesn't conform to our new zoning. But at this point in case, he's having a frontage road, which the frontage road we couldn't do anything about. The shared access is already there. Gordy and I actually drove over to the property. So, it was directed to me to look at the building plan submittal. And I have not been able to do that. Josh did not have it in his paperwork. And I have tried contacting Alwynzell to no avail. Now, I don't know if we wanna put this on hold, but if we do that, when did this come in? It came in after a new zoning,
Yep, December 5th was when I have the dated paper.
so we have 2 months, by law, 60 days, correct?
Yes, 60 days.
60 days to approve or deny this. So we can approve it, or we can wait until we get a copy of the site plan to see where those cement slabs are, that the new buildings that we put on. I looked at them and I measured them. However, I'm not a licensed surveyor, so it doesn't count.
Your
So,
approximate measurement was, they're good.
yeah, the approximate measurement shows them as being good, but I can't swear to it because I'm not a
I know
licensed
during the
surveyor.
plan commission, there was a lot of talk about that,
Yes, there was,
and that there was no measurements at that time.
no. And I don't have a site plan, so
Right.
there's nothing on paper. It's only me physically going out there and looking.
Right.
So,
As long as your approximate measurements are all right, I'm fine with approving it, but
okay,
Well, this is just for a CSM,
it is for
Correct. This
CSM,
is-
yes.
not for building permit or whatever he's building out there. at the
And no, his permits are already given based on the fact that he got one for what used to be lot 2, well, these two combined, and then one for lot 3, what these were combined. And now they will be on,
Four separate.
so he'll be able to develop 2 more lots, is basically what it's saying.
This commercial property, I assume.
It is.
Where exactly is this located?
So you know where the
Highway 13, I see,
Yeah.
but
where the storage containers are? The corner of Evergreen?
Yeah, it's just off from Evergreen.
Yes.
About 1,500 feet
Yes.
on
Okay.
the east side of the
Yeah.
state highway.
okay, all right.
That's existing, you can see them,
Yeah,
but you know, I'm not a surveyor. Just stepping them off, measuring my stride is 2.5 feet. And just stepping them off, they conform. And this egress was not on the original CSM.
I guess,
I don't know how it will change anything based on the fact that the lots are already divided right where they are, where the question is. So if they didn't meet the site plan before, I mean, if they had to meet it before in order to get the permit before, so I don't
well,
know.
that's kind of my thoughts.
Yeah.
If it's not really changing anything, why?
Yeah.
Everything's still above board at the moment.
Mhm.
I guess my thought would be to approve this.
You don't see a lot of issues with it, Jim?
No, I don't, we had concern in the plan commission that the slabs were in that easement or close, or too close to it, but as long as we're fairly certain it meets the setbacks,
Yeah.
then I would say approve it. That'd be my recommendation to approve.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the survey map for L1 Highway 13.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second by Chase and Josh to approve the CSM for L1L on Highway 13. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? Motion passes. All right. 7:30, we're doing well. Hanging in there, Josh?
Yeah.
Revision to the building code to address storage containers. This is just a draft, but I want your opinion. So what's going on is in our current building code, all it says is that portable storage containers are not allowed. However, there have been exceptions, that the board has given for, people moving, when a house gets damaged. Oh, there's one other one, I'm sorry, I can't remember it, it's in there, I wrote it in there. So the plan commission thought it'd be a good idea to expand upon this a little bit. Natural disaster remodeling, something construction based, and when people are moving into town or moving out, they need a place to keep their stuff. So all of these conditions have been allowed by the board, for various time periods, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, but we've never had anything on the books. And this was in relationship to one entity in town. This entity, they have always requested that if you're gonna bring in a storage container, send us a letter telling us where the storage container is gonna go. And what this entity did is they gave the letter to the person, and then the person was to bring it to the town, and that didn't always happen. So now what's happening is there are people moving into town that are buying these storage containers from other businesses, like, I don't know where, outside of our area, and they're wanting to bring them in, and in some cases they have brought them in. We just haven't been able to track them or keep track of them. So now we wanna define that they cannot be here, and if they are here, they're only here for this purpose and by the board's approval and a permit. So at this point in time, this is what I've been looking at, but I sent it over to the attorney to review, and he suggested putting it in the zoning code. And now if we do that, that gets a little hairy, because that means we gotta have public meetings, 2 meetings, revising the zoning code and all that kind of good stuff. So at this point in time, I think if we just put it in the building code and and it is referenced already in the zoning, when we do update the zoning, which we will be doing, and we'll have to do it every year because we gotta change the map. So then we would change this at the same time. But for now, I think we need to get something in our building code that states exactly what we're doing instead of just random people coming in and getting permission or not getting permission. This way we can actually track it. But I sent this to Gordy, and Gordy came back with, you know, 2 and 3, they're gonna need more time. That 30 days is not gonna be enough.
Right.
So do we change the 30 days to 60 days or 90 days? Or just say they all have to come in for board approval and they'll give them a time frame? I mean, that's kind of what I'm asking here, just a little guidance. I got the general gist of it, I just need a little more guidance.
A natural disaster or a fire, you're gonna be over 90 days. And there's gonna be,
You know, I've gotten calls from a lot of people who would like to use them as storage because they're very secure for storage too. If there was a way to make sure that the appearance didn't impact those around them, I'm not sure we should be stopping them completely from being in the area at all. You know, I've gotten several calls actually about people wanting to purchase a unit to
Right.
put in place.
And I did bring that up to the plan commission. And as you know, there are a couple older board members that sit on the plan commission. And they were very adamant that this is not what the people want. That the people fight these things all the time because they don't want them sitting next to their yard. Because people don't maintain them, and how do you get them to maintain them once they are there? And that is a fact. It'd be like telling somebody they have to replace their siding on their house. I mean, that was the consensus of opinion at the plan commission. So that's how this came about. So I don't know, do we wanna, you know, bring this up at an annual meeting? Is this something that is
wouldn't be a
getting,
bad idea to ask.
I think it'd be having just a few people make the opinion, because they're saying that people have said that they don't want them.
Right.
I'm hearing from several people that they do want them.
and that's why
And-
it came to the plan commission, because we got calls.
You know, so we're hearing from some people saying, well, our residents don't want them. I'm hearing
Okay.
from a lot of our residents that, yes, we do want them. And I would agree, we probably have a lot of residents that don't.
Okay, so
But
let's
I think we
bring,
do have a lot.
let's
So
bring this up at an annual meeting then.
I think that would be a good idea.
Okay, can you make sure that that's? Well, she keeps a list of what needs to be put on the meetings, and she's very good at it,
Yeah,
because you're gonna have that for you. So,
well, I do think that is something that we need to get some opinions of. 'Cause
okay, but for now, let's get this on the books, because this is what's going on, and we gotta have language, we can't just hobnobble this. So,
I think we should raise the 30 days to at least 90.
for which one, Josh, or for all of them?
I don't see,
I would say for all of them.
And you got a standard.
the only thing that I could see being less than 30 being enough is for moving. But even that could be more than that.
I think we should just.
Everything
all three
else
of them
could be
on.
90 or above.
Okay, because the last thing I put on there is, the town of Saratoga board may grant time extensions.
Right. And
So that is,
I was glad to see that in there too.
that is stated.
Because if you have a house fire and you bring a storage container in, you're not gonna have a house built in 3 months.
That's a fact,
And-
that's a fact. But then, you know, come to the board and say, hey, you know,
Yep, and then you ask for an extension, and
Yeah.
we'll get you one.
because a modular home, the basement's already there if the house had a fire.
Right.
If they can reuse the basement, and a modular home, you just place it on the foundation, you're good. So
But it takes them 6 months to build.
yeah, you know, valid point, I mean, so leave it at 90 and let the homeowner talk.
I would say 90 would be the minimum to allow for sure, and with the possibility of
Okay.
extensions.
Yeah, and it does say that we will allow an extent, okay. So this gives me something to work on, and we will put it on, for an annual meeting. So it'll be noticed as that at an annual meeting, so people will be aware. All right,
Do you want this? You want motion on this, or?
no, I was just asking for advice at this point.
Okay.
No, you're gonna vote on it when I'm gone, it'll be with Chase.
You'll be back by then, the annual meeting will be.
Well, I mean, for
That-
this to
that's
be
the
put in the
short
building,
term.
Oh, I see.
it'll go on the next meeting for
So-
that.
Do we have something in the fee schedule for that already?
Yes, we do. It's a $50 fee.
What was the fee schedule mentioned? That'd be one thing that you might.
No, it's
add.
not. Good point. Good catch. See fee schedule. Got it. Good catch. All right. And the fee schedule is for, maybe we will have to add that to the fee schedule because it says,
Cause right now they don't.
Yeah,
have a permit
because-
For that,
no, they don't.
so, okay.
So is this then a non-fee permit? Yeah. Yeah, we don't want to charge them a fee if there's a natural disaster, or their house is on fire, or just for moving it. Do we?
Yeah, probably.
For a temporary purpose, I don't see a reason to charge a fee for
I
something.
don't either.
Is this something that's going to take somebody coming out and inspecting?
Well, no, but they have to, they have to display the permit so that we know it's there. But, charging them, I don't like that idea. Yeah, no. Permit application is available at Town Saratoga. And then where I got C fee schedule, I'll put at no charge.
Can we put fee only applies if they're moving out of Saratoga?
Right.
I'm just gonna put no charge in there.
That's fine.
Does that sound good to everybody? All right.
Free if they're moving in, but they're charged if they're moving out.
You take your tax base with you, we don't want you. That doesn't sound very nice. All right. All right, I'll work on that. All right, Town Advocacy Council Membership Renewal, Towns Association. Paula, can you explain this, please?
So this is the Town Advocacy Council, which is a little bit different than the Towns Association. So the Advocacy Council are the ones that kind of advocate and lobby for the towns and try to get additional funding. And then they'll send you, updates of what's going on in the legislation particular to the town. Do you have more, Chase? You're probably familiar with this too.
Yeah, this money goes mostly to Larry Konopacki, and they've had Joe Ruth down. And when they're going down and talking to all legislators right down at the Capitol, the money they've spent on this, the direct contributions from that has gone to the recent increases we've seen in the GTA and the LRIP programs in the last 6 years.
We're talking big bucks here.
Yeah, quite a bit.
100,000 is what we got from it.
Well, and
Yeah.
particularly the shared revenue,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
There's
is all-
always monitoring.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and that's, when you look at, as far as where the towns are, we're small government, and as you get up, big government kind of wants us to go away.
Yeah.
Town Advocacy Council ensures that we are still strong,
Then we have a voice.
that we have a voice, and we're still, our local residents are still represented.
It's kind of like, the state has power, the county has a little less power than the cities, than the village, and then here we are. We're a town. And if we don't have somebody speaking up for us, we'll never get our head above water. And these guys, and I'm not one to push for advocacy councils, but these guys do work their butts off, and we do reap the rewards of that monetarily.
And overall, they have been responsible for, in terms of wins or losses, bigger wins down in Madison over like League of Municipalities and the Counties Association, and all of them. They've actually walked away with a bigger slice of the pie than a lot of the others. And considering we are considered the smallest, it's made a big difference.
So we've always contributed to this. The only thing is, this year we can contribute in a different way. We can pay a 12-month or an 18-month. And the deal is, if we pay a 12-month, then when the dues come due for the Towns Association, it's at a different time than the Advocacy Council dues come due. If we pay it at 18-month this time, then we're always on the same schedule. We'll match up.
Well, they've always been 6 months apart because
Yeah.
they were trying to make it easier financially for towns, but been getting a lot of complaints at the Towns Association. They wanted to get that all in one payment. So their response to that was, that's what they're trying to do now. So if we don't go with that, eventually what it's gonna be is we're gonna end up making a 6-month payment at some point, and then they're gonna get it all on the same track. So either we can pay the 18 months now, or I believe in 12 months when this is up, we're gonna pay a 6-month anyways.
Yeah, and
Might as well go with the 18 month.
And I did talk to them about the population being 5,084, which changes the first of the year. But they said they have to follow whatever the census is. They won't even listen to anything else. So we're locked into the 5,084.
It's only a quarter for.
Well, hey, it's my quarter. I'll fight for every dime in
Have
this town.
have we ever not been a member?
Since I've been here, we've been a member, so I don't know what it was
I
pre-
think there
prior
was a year,
years.
there was a year or two that we did.
We didn't join until, oh, that was a lot of years ago.
Well, the Town Advocacy Council is fairly new.
No, but I mean, we didn't join the Towns Association till, oh, it was years ago that we joined the Towns Association. The Advocacy Council, that one I don't know.
Currently, I believe there's only 2 towns in Wisconsin that are not members of the Towns Association.
Yeah, and, yeah, I don't know how many are not members of the Advocacy Council,
So about a third.
is it? So I guess it's at your pleasure.
Due to some of my connections with the members of the WTA, I'm
Yeah.
actually gonna review myself.
No,
I don't know that I would need to, but I'm going to just, 'cause I know a lot of them personally.
Better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know any of the council members at all, but I do know,
I know a
They
lot
do
of them
good things.
personally, so I'm gonna just err on the side of caution on this one.
So I'll make a motion that we go with the 18-month payment option to the Town Advocacy Council for a membership,
okay.
in the town of Saratoga.
Okay, Rogers made a motion to go with the 18-month membership dues, annual dues, well, I guess dues, for the 2024 Town Advocacy Council. Do I have a second?
I will second.
Okay, I have a motion by Roger and a second by Josh. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those against? All right, passes. That was a lot of verbiage. Okay. Number 11, Missy's Menu Business Permit, Change of Ownership. A gentleman here in town of Saratoga bought Missy's Menu and he's not changing the name, not changing the structure of the business, not changing anything about it for now. And it's just a change of ownership. That's all it is.
Be local.
He is local.
Feel like I should know him.
Yes,
Sounds very-
Name does sound familiar.
it does, doesn't
Can't
it?
place him though.
Yeah, me either. He came in here and yeah, I know he's familiar, but I just don't know.
That, he's taken over what, first of the year? Or did he take over?
So,
Yeah, first of the year. Yeah. He lives on,
2016?
yeah,
I see absolutely no reason not to approve it, so I'll make a motion to approve it.
we have a motion by Chase. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A second by by Josh to approve the change of ownership to Misty's. All those in favor? Those against? Okay, passes. Wood County Solar Decommissioning Plan. Boy, this has been a rough one, you guys. So the decommissioning plan for the Wood County, oh, it's not all here. You just got the battery storage part in here.
That's all that I,
No. Oh, this is,
that'd be why I
So-
didn't see a signature page maybe. I
this,
thought this was all I had.
no, I'm sorry, we'll put this on the next agenda. This is what was added. So when we got the decommissioning plan, we went through it. There were a few things that, were added to it based on the attorney and Chase and I going over it, and um, having someone else review it for us. So based on that, when they came in to put in the battery storage, we jumped on that and we said we wanted some kind of language in there. Basically, what the decommissioning plan is should they move out of the town for any reason at any time, this is what we are guaranteed. So we wanted to make sure that the land would be brought back to what it was, of course, without the trees. But all the wiring, all the concrete, everything that's underground will be taken away. Everything that's above ground will be hauled away. The gravel, the tracking pads, everything goes away. The high capacity wells, everything's out. And they still have to pay us for 30 years at this point for no matter how long they use it. I mean, up till the 30 years. Now, the thing is, the bad thing about this is that there aren't that many to compare to. So we don't know if we thought of everything, and that's the attorney that's with other solar arrays. So we have a window in here. So every few years, and there's no specific few, this can be, and we're talking 2 or 3, this can be looked at again and revised. And that's at the owner said that, plus, Wisconsin Power and Light for the solar, for the battery, and, Alliant. We're all in agreement to the same thing, that it can be periodically reviewed and renewed. So I don't want you to approve this tonight because it's not all here. The only part that is here is the battery storage, and that's my fault. I should have looked at it
My
beforehand.
apologies, I
No,
thought this
that's
was
not
the
your
whole
fault.
thing.
I
And
should have looked.
I looked for the signature and I'm like, I didn't see it, and I didn't think
No.
much further into it.
Totally.
So which part then, do you feel we're missing?
So the whole complex, the whole array. So
Whole
the
plan.
panels, the electrical,
But that was approved before.
no,
Not the decommissioning.
no, not the decommissioning plan. The decommissioning for the first project, what says will all go away. It was approved that they had to have one, but it's never been approved per se for that plan.
You might be thinking of the developers agreement.
Oh,
That was
my bad.
recently
But
approved.
the developers agreement had a decommissioning plan in it.
It said that it had to have one.
I-
It doesn't
I
have
thought
it
you
in
said-
it. It said it had to be
Yeah,
developed.
Yeah,
And that's what this is, but I'm sorry, it's not all here, but I'll make sure it will be
That's where we approved
for
it.
the next meeting, but this is the newest part of it. So, but it will be on the,
Cause I remember there was discussion on
The wires, the
panels,
wires underneath, the
on-
underground,
metal and wires.
because underground wiring was gonna stay.
yeah, and it's not. No,
As far as the agreement that I seen, and I don't know where I seen it or dreamt it, but.
They had originally wanted to.
Right. Yes.
okay. Well,
I'll get the rest to you
Yeah,
guys.
well-
no, that's okay. I mean,
apologize, I
We've
didn't.
been working on this since we started, so I don't think one more month is gonna be a killer. We're good. All right. So, let's see, let's move on here. Amend the 2023 budget. Okay. So what's going on there, Paulette? Can you,
Yeah,
us
so
up to
we actually reached our threshold in the Public Works Department. So we basically, so it's not adding money to the budget per se, it's just shifting from economic development into public works. So we're still in,
and I'm just to be clear, the economic development that it's coming out of is what we were going to pay the zoning administrator. So it's coming out of that area of the economic development. It's not coming out of, what did I want to tell you? I just want to be clear that everybody understands. Like recreation, it's not coming out of recreation. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
So, that's a whole different area.
see a change I gotta make on there.
All right. So, I need how much are we transferring?
Just moving
$20,000.
$20,000.
I just wanted to make sure these guys were aware.
So I make a motion to approve the, amending the budget with resolution number 2023-12-23.
You're now the chairman, eh?
Yeah,
Oh,
like I said, I need to make that change.
moving up.
So, yeah.
I didn't
I
even
don't need
realize
that.
I got bamboozled here.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah. I will correct that, but.
That'd be great. All right,
He's actually got a pay reduction.
Exactly. I kinda.
who did, you or me?
Me.
Did you get a second? Matt?
No, it was made a motion by Chase, and I need a second.
I'll second.
And a second by Josh. Okay, so I have a motion by Chase and a second by Josh to approve resolution 2023-12-23. All those in favor?
I,
Those against? All right, motion carries. Madam Chairman?
Yeah.
All right,
I'll fix that.
all right. Sounds
I didn't
good.
realize that. Oh.
All right, refund the money to Tom and Sherry Krutzik for discontinuance of Mill Avenue. Oh, this has been such a mess.
We officially figure out that was.
We did. So I had two DOT guys and the attorney. And I met with them, and what turns out to be is that the GIS was wrong, and everybody believed it. So once we found the actual civil engineering road plans, I could see it was sitting right there in front of me, but nobody had them. They gotta be in the safe somewhere, but the DOT brought them in, and what it is that the DOT actually owns that land. And of course, they cannot abandon it. And right in front of Kruzik's property is a little strip of Mill Avenue that has to stay there, because if we abandon it, we landlock him. Because what the state statute says, that if you abandon property in the town, you don't get to pick and choose who you give it to. When you abandon property, it goes to the owner of the 40 that you're abandoning it. So if it's on the right-hand corner, whoever's next to you that owns the right-hand corner of that
So
40,
that property did not go to a private landowner.
no, it
It went
cannot.
to the state.
It is, the state owns the front part of it, yes. As their right of way. And then we own the little half of Mill Avenue that we cannot give away, because Kruzik's, we would landlock them, and by state statute, we can't landlock somebody. So, Kruzik's gave us a check for
$950.
$950 to do this. We hired an attorney. Luckily, we got a dang good attorney who doesn't charge for every Tom, Dick, and Harry stupid mistake we do. And we are going to give Krutzik back his money. I think if that's what the board says, because we didn't do the job that he asked us to do. But the town is gonna be out. I don't know what Nick's gonna charge us. I'm assuming Nick's gonna charge us about, I don't know, I hate to say, I don't
I'm
know,
not really sure.
but I know it's not gonna be $950.
it is what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? Right?
But this is the second attempt to do this. And if we would have figured out from the first attempt what was going on, and they couldn't figure it out either, because it stopped because Kruzik didn't pay the money.
Mhm.
If it would have stopped because of them finishing
So
it,
what would have happened if we had actually approved?
I don't know. I don't know. But the DOT called me, at home actually, and said, Lorelei, we see that you approved the discontinuance of our land. Said, well, as a matter of fact, we didn't. What was on your agenda? I said, it might have been on the agenda, but we caught it. And I said, we did not do it. And he said, well, can I meet with you in your office? I said, absolutely. Okay, me and Trent, or whatever his name was, will be there, and then maybe you can have your attorney there, and Kruzik's. I said, well, Kruzik's we're not gonna invite, but, so we did meet, and, that's what was determined. And then I went up to the courthouse the next day and I talked I tried to talk to Paul, but he wasn't there, and I noticed that the map has been changed.
Okay.
So, the GIS is now changed, and
All right.
it has a note on the GIS, it says, don't use this for legal purposes. And we all did,
Well, I'll
me
make
included.
a motion to refund the money to Tom and Jerry Cruises.
All right, I have a motion by Chase to refund the money to Tom and Sherry Krutzig.
I'll second the motion.
I have a second by Roger. All those in favor?
Okay.
Those against? Okay, thank you. Nominations for the 2024 and 2025 election cycle. Paulette has included a list of people that have volunteered to help with elections, and she needs the approval.
Do we do any background checks or anything, or?
A lot of them are
Previous?
renominations, I would say, for poll workers, and then there were a few new ones. And I did take and look into them to make sure that there was no background. Now, keep in mind, if you're a felon, you can't vote, so some of these came right from WisVote, where like when they registered, they said they wanted to work
Okay.
at an election. It doesn't mean that I have every single one of them. I'm very fortunate that I have a large number of individuals that are willing to work on an election, so.
I recognize a lot of these
Mhm.
names.
Mhm.
I
Very
didn't
good
realize
people.
there was that many.
Yeah, the hard part is, like the February election, I might have 5 to 7 people work. November, I'll have 21. So I need that flexibility, and you never know if somebody's, some people go out of town for some of the months, and so we're very lucky. We have a lot of people that are willing to do this.
Did you say that you actually, you said you got them from Worcester?
Some of them were from WisVote,
Yeah.
some would be people that would come in and say, hey, I want to, work the election.
Do you have to do any kind of a background check on them?
It's probably just not a bad idea to do that. But yeah, so I mean, a lot of them were already on the list.
I
A lot of
guess
them-
I wouldn't be concerned about the people that already have worked, but the new people.
Oh,
coming
the new
on.
ones I did take a look at.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All
mhm,
right. that
Yep,
would-
yep.
okay.
You want a motion to nominate everybody on this list?
correct.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Josh and a second by Roger to nominate for the 2024 to 2025 election cycle. The workers that are so listed on the list provided by Paulette. All those in favor? Those against? Motion passes. Did I have to read all those names?
I will have to include them in the minutes.
Okay, so if you include them in the minutes, I don't need to read them. All right.
I was hoping we'd-
You just want to hear me fumble over some of those names. All right, pay the town bills. Are there any questions on any of the checks that were wrote out?
Hi, guys. Yeah.
Good night. Thank you for coming.
Kind of a soul guy here.
Hey, the Lone Ranger, he always gets his man.
I guess, I don't want to drag this out too long, but like on the second page on the bottom, what's Dre Management?
That is Rose,
Oh,
the zoning
okay.
administrator. That's her business name.
Is that what she calls it?
Mhm.
And Wood County Highway was for Ranger Road, right?
That was the large amount, correct?
Yeah.
The shouldering on that or something, like 22,570.
I'd have to look back at the particular bill to say if that one was the shouldering or not. I'm thinking that would be on the one, check number 18627 is my guess.
Then what
From
was
12/7.
18601? That was 1114.
Yeah, that was.
I
rolled
wonder
in
if that's
November,
what's
so
left over from range line.
I can go look off the top of my head. I don't remember exactly.
Have we gotten the money back from the LRIP on Ranger Road or Range Line Road yet?
I thought.
I think so.
we did.
I think so. I think it came in just before the I believe we did, Chase. It's been quite a while though.
Always messes with our GPA if we get that back in a different year than we.
Yeah, let's make a note of that. Can you check that out? Also that Liberty Tire Recycling. What is
Yes,
that?
so they picked up the tires at the transfer site. So we
Oh,
have to,
that's
yep.
them.
So instead, a lot of times, like this year, we probably had it twice because I didn't realize last fall to have them come pick up the tires at the transfer site. So
Okay.
the oil was taken, the scrap metal and the tires were all picked up. So when they start in April,
Does that pay for itself?
well, we do get that recycling grant. So it
I mean,
Probably
between the
evens
grant and the
itself out.
charge that we charge
Yeah,
for tires? it
yeah,
does?
it's usually about $10,000 that we get
Oh,
for the
all
recycling
right.
grant, so.
Okay.
We don't charge for tires, so.
Yeah,
Over
They
10.
get 10 free tires, but then anything above and beyond, and then there's some specialty tires that they have to pay for.
Yeah, there's a lot of racing tires that go in there.
Yeah, that's not,
you racing?
No, when I dropped some tires
Oh.
off one day, there was
yep.
a guy unloading like 40 racing
Paul,
tires in
Paul
there.
drops them all
We'll blame her.
Yeah. So does Rock Oil charge them to come and? pick up
We
the oil?
actually got paid from Rock Oil for like recycling the oil, so we just, I don't remember how much it was.
Sometimes it's a wash, sometimes it's a charge, most of the time they pay you.
Yeah,
Really?
so everything is ready to go for the spring.
What do we pay Mid-State Truck Services for? For Josh to sit here and look pretty?
Yeah.
Okay, so are you looking at,
So
do
check
the last-
18641, it's only 89.90. It's just kind of a weird amount.
yeah, so
Parts.
there were different parts that they had.
Oh,
Yep,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we have a waste management, 26,833, and then a waste management for 28,148. What the heck?
their fuel surcharge. So
Really? It was
it's
that
not-
much?
Well, that's what the garbage bill is roughly every month, is that 26 to 28,000.
Really?
So that's the garbage, the recycling, and then the fuel.
Wow. Did you guys realize it was that much?
I had seen that before.
Wow.
And this just seems like it's so huge because
It does.
with a longer time span.
And maybe that's it. That's surcharge. That's gonna really be a savings. Wow.
But keep in mind that that does end up being the services rendered that we do eventually
Yeah.
collect on.
You know, the EMS comes responding fees.
Yep, all their payroll was on here too.
And how does that get paid?
It comes out of the EMS budget. So they have
They have their own budget?
their budget within
our-
the town budget, and then
Yeah.
I have to
Okay.
write those out, so
Yeah,
they
we
tell
have a
me.
portion in our budget for email.
Yep.
All right.
We'll make a motion, pay bills.
What's not the motion?
Okay, I have a motion by Josh and a second by both of these guys, and you can flip.
Give it to.
Okay, give it to Chase.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those against, motion passes. Okay, item for future agendas. Okay, so on the future agenda, we're gonna have that portable storage container,
Yep,
and we're gonna have
Commissioning plan.
the decommissioning plan and the truck.
truck,
You're gonna have to open the truck bids,
okay.
probably. How long are we gonna put the bids out for, a month?
Yeah, we,
In 2 weeks, but
they're not gonna deal with this.
No, that's.
So, but our next meeting will be in January,
Yeah,
the end of January, because it'll be
Okay.
the third.
well, do we want to do the January or do we want to do the March meeting? Give a little extra time,
February, I mean.
or February, yeah, sorry.
Probably February, because we got the truck and the equipment. So let's do February.
Okay,
We can make it due before then, but,
okay,
let's open it at February meeting.
Yeah, third one, those are early meetings too. You're talking third Wednesday, that's the 17th, and then the 21st would be the February one, so
Okay.
yeah, why don't we do that February 21st for opening up that?
And then, Can you make a note on there that I gotta look into a streetlight policy, please? I don't know if I'll remember that. And then, employee evaluations, Roger brought forward that there's a policy in there for employee evaluations. We should really look at that. I didn't realize there was a policy.
It's
Okay,
an annual review, right?
is it annual?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it, I don't know if it said annual or as needed, or I think it said
Well, I think
annual.
we can do it more than
Right.
annual.
Well, we should
Wow.
probably, well, employees, that's only the two people, right?
Well, we do
Employees.
have clerk or
No, they're elected.
Deputy.
deputy clerk,
Oh, deputy clerk,
which is a town employee.
okay.
You know, you got other employees too that we had a discussion. on.
Transfer site employee.
Well, yeah, we've got.
Oh, yeah.
And then-
Yeah, but everybody's changed
Right.
because,
So
But-
there's no problems with those
Right.
employees.
but you know, maybe we should set something where like a certain day every year that these should happen because it's all been forgotten.
You know, even if we haven't had problems, there's still
Yeah,
goals
yeah,
that we
yeah,
could
see.
probably work on, like with Caston, there's goals that we can work
Yeah.
on.
Or what would you like to see changed, or how do you
So-
feel that things would work better, or, I mean, there's always something. But we should make it an annual thing, and we should make it a certain month, so it gets taken care of.
That being said, I'm not sure middle of winter. is the
No, I'm
best time
thinking
for us to do it.
June, actually. Because all the snow is gone, we're not doing really a whole lot. I think June would be good. Can you just make a note that June will look at evaluating employees? I mean, how long can it take? Just bring them in and talk
There's
to
a
them.
format, you sit down with the employees and just
Yeah,
See what their concerns are, see what our
Yeah.
concerns are.
yeah,
ask what goals they may
Yeah, set
have,
some goals.
you know, and ask if there's any additional training or schooling or anything. I mean, they should be looking at that all the time. I've talked to them, Gaston about that.
should this be done by a full board or by one individual? I think a board. I think the board.
This will be the board.
Yeah, because one person has different opinions on how to.
So when we evaluate employees at Midstate, we hand out a self-evaluation first
Okay,
and have the employee fill it out to see.
That's a good idea.
that's really a good idea.
Me too, but anyway, we hand out just it's one sheet of paper.
Okay,
With some questions on it. How would you rate yourself? What are your goals that you set for yourself? What can what can we do?
For them.
What can we do to help you with, I can get a copy.
I know, I think I have a few over, yeah.
Take more time off. I work too hard.
It's not gonna get you. All right, let's look at doing that in June. And I like that idea with those self-evaluating forms, so I'll
Well, then
touch
too, if they, you know, we got a budget right that we run off of, but if they say I could use some additional training or education, you know, as per
Good
my
point.
job, then if you got money, you can send them to that.
Right.
Or you have
That's a good
to,
point,
you know, budget it,
yeah.
you know, so.
Or we're doing this now and I really think we need more training on this. Or I noticed, yeah,
Like we've
that's
got,
a good,
we've got a bucket truck now. Has
Yeah.
Everybody been trained on
mm,
how to properly operate a bucket truck?
Well, they should have a certification. I don't know.
Well, can you sign me up for the, Minocqua district meeting for the WTA? That's coming up on the 27th, I think,
of January.
January, yeah. And I will provide certification for board review.
Oh, awesome.
All right,
I gotta sit through it. and stuff.
all right,
Might as well be signed up for it.
that's okay.
And
Do
we have to have somebody certify every year, so.
you need a hotel?
I'll be paid for it anyways.
Oh,
I gotta sit through the meeting anyways,
Oh, cause you're going through your job?
but to be certified, I'll have to officially sign up for the,
Okay,
but yeah, I'll be there. And that one, there's no room for me to actually leave. It's, the
Do
check-in
we-
table's right sitting in front of the
we need more than one?
table, so.
There has to be at least one every year.
Okay.
There is other information that goes on at those meetings,
Okay,
but They do have a meeting closer in Point,
Okay,
if somebody else wanted to go, but that one.
you're
it's-
going anyway.
I gotta go anyways. I'll be at the one in Point too, but that's,
Alright,
that one I can go out in the hall and get away from people, so.
alright. Any,
The one up in Minocqua I can't, so I gotta sit right there to watch it.
anybody else have anything?
When was that grant? Maybe gonna come through
I don't know.
sometime in January, I thought,
Okay,
for the Firewise WPP.
okay, so then, once that comes through, we're gonna have to address what goes next, what we're doing next. We can order the, we got all these things that are just sitting there waiting to be ordered and done, so. We can't even pass the driveway ordinance yet. Till we get it,
Well, then we need to figure out.
we got it
earmark
sitting
the
there.
areas that list that Caston
Yep,
developed and
I
work
got,
it accordingly, and
Chase knows where it is on my desk, so it's in the Firewise folder,
Mhm.
and the check off is in there of everything that we got ready to go. So you guys can do all that.
Do you know when we're supposed to hear about that grant?
I think in January, I could contact him and ask.
Cause as soon as we hear back, we can
After
start
eight.
taking action on whatever's on that.
okay, let's set the date for the next meeting.
Is there 2 meetings in January?
Um,
So we're going the third,
No,
Third Wednesday.
the third Wednesday, yes.
yeah. So the
17th.
17th, yep.
No, that's what I had. Boy, that was pretty good adding for me. Okay, January 17th. And I guess that's all we need, a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Josh, a second by Roger. All those in favor?
Aye.